Hey gang, today I want to share with you actually a really simple way of looking at how to play chords up the neck. And it's related to the cage system, but it's much, much simpler. I call it the Capo Trick, okay? And the way that it works is we're going to take some open chords, and I'm sure that you know the open chords, but those open chords that we're going to be interested in are C. You're familiar with that chord, I'm sure. The A chord, the G chord, the E chord, the D chord, and then a few minor chords, the E minor, the A minor, and the D minor. And we're going to show you how to play each of those things up the neck and give you essentially the way to think, one way to think about it, not the way, but one way of thinking about it. And so basically, let's take a look at a couple of different chords. We'll take a look at the C chord and the G chord here. Suppose we wanted to play a song, a simple song. Something just along those lines, really simple. And somebody said, hey, I can't sing it in C, I want to sing that in D. Well, one way that you've learned to do that, I'm sure, is to use a thing called a capo. So you would put the capo on, in this case, D is 2 notes up from C, right? Or not 2 notes, a whole step, 2 frets up from C. And so if you capoed on the 2nd fret and played those same shapes that you played down below, right? This shape for the, and this shape for the C, and that shape for the G, but now we capoed on the 2nd fret. Now we could play that song, and we'd be playing it in D, but we'd be using our C shape and our G shape. It works the same way, but now we've pulled the pitch up 2 frets, or a whole step, from C to D. All right? So we can use that principle to move up the neck to any chord that we want in any of those 5 principal major shapes or 3 principal minor shapes. The only thing we have to do now is take off the capo, and we're going to use our first finger as the capo. So that's essentially what the cage system is. If I play now this, that's a C chord, but if I capo with my first finger on the 2nd fret and play that same shape with my remaining fingers, my 2, 3, and 4 fingers, like so, that gives me a D chord. Now that may be a little bit hard to finger, especially some of these may be a little bit hard to finger. But that's the principle. I can take any of those chords. I can take my C chord, my C shape, and I can capo with my first finger and play the D chord if I move it up 2 frets. If I move it up 4 frets, right up here, now I'm playing an E chord, but using that C shape. Same shape that I used down here for the C in the open. Now if I use my first finger capo, if I play it up here, now I've got an E. Okay? So that's the idea. So what I'd like to do now is just kind of show it to you close up and give you a few pointers, because some of these are a little bit difficult to play. So I'll show you that, and then we'll be all set. Okay, so see you in just a second. All right, gang, let's have a look at some of these chords close up. You can download the chord diagrams from below, and you can check out a video that I have on the cage system, which goes in more depth up here. And in fact, there's a whole series of videos on the chords on the cage system, which you can check out. Again, I have that up here in the little, if you go to the little eye icon there, you can check it out. All right, well, let's take a look at them in order. So let's start with the C shape. I'm playing on the 5th through 1st strings for that one. That's the C shape. Now if we're going to use our capo, our first finger capo, and I'm just going to move up 2 frets, so C to D, 2 frets up from C is D. So that would be the D major chord version of that. Okay? And if we want an easy version of it, we can just play in the 4, 3, and 2 strings like this. Same one. Same fingerings. Same fingerings, but we can just play that. It's kind of like a mini chord. And that's actually pretty easy to play. That's a little bit harder. Some practice, you can get it. Let's move on to the next one, the A shape, which would be this. That's what it is in open position. Let's use our first finger capo. Move it up 2 frets. That would be from A, 2 frets up from A is B. So that would be the B chord using that. That's actually pretty easy to finger once you get used to it. The bar is a little bit tough, but there you go. All right, the G is the next one. So there's open G. We use our first finger capo, again 2 frets up. It would be this. That one's kind of hard to play, but we can play on the strings 5, 4, 3, and 2. We can play that, and that's actually pretty common. You hear that a lot in Hendrix's playing. That sort of chord you'll find. Okay, the next one is E. There's open E. If we go up 2 frets from E, bar on the 2nd fret, we would get an F sharp. All right, that's E. And the final one is D. We'll play that open. That's on strings 4, 3, 2, 1. And if I use my first finger bar here, this is a tough chord to play. Tough chord to finger. So we'll use a simpler version of this, just playing on strings 4, 3, and 2. It's not the fullest, richest D chord, but it does work. I'm sorry, if we bar it on the 2nd fret, that makes it an E, right? Because 2 frets up from D is E. It's not a really full D chord if I just play the 4, 3, and 2 strings, but it sounds kind of cool. All right, let's do the minors. There's an E minor open chord. If I bar, this is a particularly easy one. If I bar on the 2nd fret, play that same shape, you get an F sharp minor. We'll do the A shape. Also pretty easy. I'll bar on the 2nd fret again. That gives me a B minor. 2 frets up from A is B. Last shape is the D minor. And again, if I bar this takes a little bit of practice. It's a little bit hard, but not too bad. Not as hard as the D major form. If I go 2 frets up, like I'm doing right now, from D, 2 frets up from D is E. And again, if you want to play a simpler version, 4, 3, and 2, not really necessary. Now, the idea is you can extend that not just 2 frets, but you can go 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever, and each time you get that same shape but a different flavor of that chord. So for example, if we want to play this C shape up 4 frets, we already did that. That gives you an E minor, or an E major, I'm sorry. 5 frets would give you an F. 7 frets would give you a G. And you can tell that I claim that this is a G. If I play my G chord in open position, you'll hear they're the same. Anyway, simple trick for playing up the neck. You imagine your first finger is a capo, and you use that as you would normally a capo. So there you have it, the capo trick for learning how to play chords up the neck. And it's really essentially an introduction to the cage system. Hope you like this one, and we'll see you on down the road.